We have a new report that Seth Rogen and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem film made Splinter gay and also butchered the Turtles. Let's get into this here. This report comes from YouTuber Price of Reason, where he was actually able to watch an early screening of the film, and he shared his review where he notes the film takes significant liberties with not only Splinter, but the Turtles as well. So first off, he began with the Turtles, and he says, in all the adaptations that we've seen to date, the Turtles usually take their fighting seriously, even if they are at times a bit humorous and playful. They usually seem rather confident and competent. While each of them have certain strengths, flaws, and unique skills, they also show real respect towards Splinter, who is their caretaker, but also their mentor. In this movie, they are pretty much the exact opposite of everything I just said. They always seem like these insecure, weak losers and never really exude confidence and never convince you that they've taken charge of a situation. Everything I've seen from the trailers, from the clips that they've released, seems to indicate that. So this does not surprise me that this is how they are depicting the Turtles. In the trailers and in the clips, they look like 5-year-olds. They do not look like teenagers whatsoever. Maybe that's what teenagers are like now. I'm hoping to hope that the kids that I'm raising will not become teenagers like that, because they act like 3 to 5-year-olds, in my opinion, for the Turtles in this film. But Price of Reason goes on. He says the Turtles also don't seem to do a lot of fighting in this movie, and when they do, it all looks rather lackluster. So the ninja is completely removed from the film. Par for the course, right? It's Seth Rogen. And for some reason, the Turtles constantly treat Splinter with extreme disrespect, like he's some kind of nuisance. I would probably say chalk that up to the propaganda. They want you to hate your parents, and they want to break up the families because they don't want you actually respecting the authority figure of your parents, and they want to destroy those families. I mean, that's in all of these communist, Marxist manifestos, Black Lives Matter. Like, it's all in there. They want to destroy families, because family makes up the core unit of society, and honestly, they want to destroy society. And this film looks like it is a propaganda film meant to destroy society. And it goes on and says, and to make matters worse, they always act and talk like a cross between Seth Rogen, 5-year-old children, and weirdos on TikTok. I suppose that Rogen thought this was a good idea because it would appeal to modern audiences, but by making the Turtles this way, he's really stripped away their identities or agency. No, shocking. So again, I don't think this is out of the ordinary for what we've seen from this film. We had these character biography breakdowns released on Japanese e-commerce website Rakuten. You had Leo saying, Leo's the leader. Well, he wants to be. He dreams of leading his brothers to become an unstoppable crime-fighting team. So what if no one takes him seriously? Like, utterly ridiculous. The other Turtles do take him seriously, and he is a serious character. So you already have this here ruining Leonardo as the leader of the Turtles. Raphael says Ralph likes to break things. In fact, his biggest goal is to punch someone so hard they throw up. But beneath his hard head and tough exterior is a sensitive turtle just looking for someone to talk to. So his biggest thing is he wants to punch things and break things. That's not the Raphael I know. Again, sounds more like a 2-year-old or 3-year-old that's just going on a temper tantrum. As for Michelangelo, too bad his brothers don't think he's that funny. He might not be the best at ninjutsu or waking up on time or even hygiene, but you can always count on Mikey's positive attitude. So he's dirty. Okay. Just bizarre. And then we got Donatello here. Donnie is devastatingly smart and not afraid to let you know it. His intellectual self-assuredness may come across as arrogance, but it's just that his brain is thinking so many steps ahead that he's paralyzed with indecision. So not only is he seemingly arrogant, but when he does actually think of something, he can't think of something because he's paralyzed with indecision. That's not the Donatello that I know. And then he wants to be a K-pop star. Like, what is going on here? These are not the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They basically crafted some new personality for them, stuck them on these hideous designs, and I do think they are indeed hideous. I don't like them at all. They're pretty ugly, and just trying to sell this crap to you. But so then after discussing how the film aligns the Turtles, Price of Reason shared how the film destroys Splinter. He says in all the previous adaptations, Splinter carries himself in a very wise and official way. He's a figure of authority that commands the respect of the Turtles, who are also his students. In this movie, Splinter is a complete joke. Shocking. And while I like Jackie Chan, who voices him, I think he wasn't properly utilized here. In addition to being an anti-human grouch, we saw they released an entire clip where the Turtles go on this basically anti-human bigot speech that was taught to them by Splinter, who was basically trying to teach them to be anti-human bigots. I know some people are like, oh, that's the joke. He's just trying to teach them to be afraid of humans. Well, you don't need to teach them this like absolute anti-human to raid. You wouldn't teach them that if you're just trying to teach them to like, hey, maybe you should stay away from these people. They probably will react out of fear. They're not familiar with you. You're very different. They don't know what's going on. We just try and stay in the shadows and keep away from them. That's literally why I trained you to be ninjas. So we need to stay on this, because if things do happen, these are the like XXXXX consequences, right? That's what a Splinter would do, and he's done in the past. Well, no, this one is teaching them that humans are teaching them to be anti-human bigots. So his version of Splinter always acts like a buffoon, constantly trying to appease the turtles when they complain to him. So he's an absolutely terrible role model. He has no discipline. And why would he? Because the turtles clearly act like 5-year-olds, so they wouldn't have any discipline either. So that makes sense, at least in that context. If the turtles are sucky and crappy and have no discipline, that the person who's their mentor didn't instill it in them, right? So then he revealed that they also made Splinter a homosexual. So he says, to add insult to injury, at the end of the movie, Splinter is seen making out with Scumbug and then professing his love for Scumbug, who he seemingly enters into a relationship with. Price of Reasons adds, so now that in and of itself is already out of character for Splinter, as we've known him for years, as it just doesn't seem like something he would do. But then later, after researching the character posters for this movie and also consulting with Tom from Midnight's Edge, I've come to the conclusion that they've decided to present Splinter in this movie as an LGBT character, a creative decision that I disagree with, since he's never been presented that way in the 40 years that this franchise has existed. Again, trying to destroy society, destroy that family unit, and how else to do that? By making the father figure a homosexual. That can't procreate, right? Yes, I get that it's an animated cartoon, but it's clearly sending messages to kids. Like, this is what they're doing here. Come on. Price of Reason then revealed, and I'll admit that it was done in a somewhat ambiguous and quiet way. I also sense with recent developments with companies like Target and Budweiser, this aspect of the movie seems to be toned down. And although initially there were a few places that posted posters for Scumbag presenting him as a male, they're not as widespread as some of the other posters we see online. But the poster does exist, and I believe that it's genuine, so I guess there's no other way to interpret it. Make of that what you will. The poster is indeed official and genuine. You can see it here. Paramount UK, the official Paramount UK Twitter handle said, the one, the only Scumbug is Scumbug. And there he is. And it says Scumbug as himself. I don't think there's actually a voice actor. It's probably someone that just makes noises from everything I've seen and heard. But apparently Splinter makes out with this character in the end. And then we even have, I think there's an image here. I might have gone past it earlier, where they're like kind of next to each other. Yeah, here, the featured image right here. You see them here. Splinter right next to Scumbug. Looks like he might even have his arm around him in some kind of familial matter there. So this is what they're doing to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They have turned Splinter into a homosexual. He's also apparently a buffoon. He has no discipline, and thus the Turtles have no discipline. And again, what do you expect? This is Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen is an absolute piece of garbage. I hate to say that. I don't even like saying that, but I mean, everything the guy comes out and produces is absolutely terrible. And we knew this film was going to be heavily on the identity politics anyways, when they race replaced April O'Neil, and then they gender swapped Leatherhead and Wingnut. So the only thing that was really missing was some kind of sexual identity character. And of course, people were betting it was going to be one of the Turtles. Turns out that it is indeed Splinter. So again, this is par for the course for Seth Rogen. The guy is an out-and-out anti-white activist. He literally told Entertainment Weekly in 2020, and they've actually tried to private this video because I think they're trying, Rogen and his people are trying to cover up what his actual views are. I mean, he's literally talking about discriminating against people that are white. He says, I mean, personally, I think I'm just actively trying to make less things starring white people. And he said, and if I'm succeeding or I'm not, I'm very much looking to have a far more diverse group of writers and directors and actors that we generally work with, because that group is not incredibly diverse, you know? So that's how I've been trying to deal with it, is just to actively take, as they would say, anti-racist measures to assure that some work is being done, I guess, to acknowledge that Black people are very marginalized in American society. So he's clearly a racist. He doesn't like white people. He says that he's discriminating against them, and he wants to make less of them. And he's actively trying to, I guess, replace white people with people of other ethnic backgrounds. So it's not surprising that this entire film would be full of identity politics and indoctrination and absolutely the worst of woke propaganda, and specifically the destruction of the family unit.